And now we come to Calgary, Alberta, home of the Calgary Flames. And Anand Unnithan's going to join me. And the Flames got as close as you can get to making the playoffs without actually getting there.
Yeah, total of 96 points. It was unlucky, I would say. Maybe 21 seconds unlucky even. Just as Minnesota Wild beat the Anaheim Ducks, like very close, 21 seconds. Maybe the Flames, you could have said they could have taken care of a couple early games, like the one against Anaheim Ducks that they blew, or maybe the one against Edmonton in Edmonton. Maybe a couple of the factors you can pull through. But yeah, truly unlucky on the way they had the season as well. Couple injuries early to start the season, so that all put them back behind without making the playoffs.
Yeah, a few too many knee injuries. Obviously, Anthony Mantha, Connor Zary, Justin Kirkland all going through knee injuries. But even with all that being said, the Flames nearly had a Calder winner in Dustin Wolf, and by some people should have been the Calder winner. But what more can we say about this guy? Like, for a guy that was selected in the late rounds because of worries about his size, I think you need to stop worrying about short goaltenders for the rest of the time after seeing Dustin Wolf's rookie performance.
Yeah, 100%. Don't underestimate anybody's powers or capabilities at this point in NHL. The games are changing, the games are evolving, everything is changing, the new trend. Even you're looking at height, shortness, it doesn't matter. You have different types of players performing, and there is no need to too much worry about what the size is or even what the players can produce. They can surprise you out of a blow, and that was Dustin Wolf throughout this season.
And then, obviously, we had a lot of excitement for Flames fans seeing what Zane Parekh was doing in the OHL. And you finally get to have him come up, play in that final game. I wonder if Zane Parekh is kind of the way that the Flames go in this next little part of their retool. A lot of skill, a lot of hockey IQ, and an availability to move. What do you think? Do you think Parekh could maybe shock some people and play more than those 10 games of that contract?
Yeah, I don't think there is an avenue for him to go back to the OHL. I think it's just the NHL now for him. To be honest, because he has far surprised everybody in the OHL now. Played really well in the final game, like he said, Conrad against the LA Kings. So yeah, I think Kevin Ball and maybe Zane Parekh is the one pairing that I would pin down and see possibility see. I don't know if it will right away happen in the opening night roster, but maybe 5 to 10 games down the stretch, maybe you could see a consistent pairing of Ball and Parekh joined together.
Yeah, and the other question is also back on D, and that's the future of Rasmus Andersson. Like, his name has been floated in trade talks all summer long. There was a few rumors that he might get moved before the draft, and now with free agency knocking on the door, you have to wonder, how long is Rasmus going to be a Calgary Flame?
I just saw a news post this morning. I believe Darren Dreger was talking about it. He had mentioned that Rasmus Andersson declined his request to. Apparently, Ken Holland, LA Kings GM, offered a huge, massive deal, but he has declined on that offer. He doesn't want to play in LA, so we'll see if that changes anything around. Now that the draft is done and free agency is knocking, I believe there will be slower interest for trade-wise. So we'll have to see how this goes.
Yeah, because a couple of the teams that were rumored to be interested have kind of made their moves. Especially if the Vegas Golden Knights, that trade finally completes and they do acquire Mitch Marner, or if they just wait till free agency and get the tampering investigation. But I digress. It'll be interesting to see if Rasmus's trade value continues to go up and you get a bigger haul than even you were being offered now at the trade deadline. But let's now move to the draft. Obviously, the Flames started off, lose their first draft pick of the night to the Montreal Canadiens, which then gets traded for Noah Dobson. That one hurt a little bit. But then the Flames, using the 18th overall selection that they got from New Jersey, select Cole Reshny out of the Victoria Royals. Shorter center, but seems to project to be somebody who's going to be really well liked as a top 6 center. And hey, even if he isn't a center in the NHL, he's got the high end skill that the Flames certainly are lacking.
Yeah, 100%. I was also looking at deeper into Cole Reshny as well. I did find out that he played in the Circle K Classic during the 2022-2023 year. Some a little insight into local as well. Maybe just play the 4 games overall, but he might see the local city as well. So probably he'll turn into.
And his brother played out for the Okotoks Oilers, so he knows the area. So he's. We all know that he's out of Macklin, Saskatchewan. The popular thing is, oh, he's an Oilers fan. Why did we draft this player? But like his family has been in and around the area for years with the Okotoks Oilers. Now his brother is attending SAIT and playing hockey up there. So the Reshny family knows the area, and I have no concerns about Cole coming and being able to fit into this lifestyle.
100%.
And then with the final selection attained from the Florida Panthers, the final moving piece in the Matthew Tkachuk trade, Cullen Potter, a left wing out of Arizona State University, one of the youngest players to be selected, one of the youngest players to play in the NCAA last year, left the U.S. National Development Program, decided, I'm going to go play NCAA against men that are sometimes 28 years old. So, 28 is an exaggeration. I think 25 is the oldest, with all the COVID extensions. Yeah. But I digress. It's interesting to see that he's billed as a left winger, but also somebody, when he was in that U.S. National Development Program, was a center. So we'll have to see where he ends up. And then another center, defenseman, center, Aiden Lane, a right winger who's played center. Like, it kind of seemed that Craig Conroy and co., while looking for the best available, they did kind of check that boxes. Has this player been a center in their career?
Yeah, and that is one of the main need that the Flames organization is looking for. Because we always talk about it. We talked it during our regular season games as well. Our face-off dot percentages, that's been low. We can move puck fast through and enter the offensive zone to score a goal. Scoring has been low. So can one of these projected centers who at least have tried center roles can be a good lifeline for us a couple years down the road?
For sure. And it is really going to be a test of this Flames organizational depth as they continue to develop. And obviously, the Flames, since the passing of Chris Snow, have really changed how they're evaluating using the structures that he set up. But it really is going to be, how do we continue to build off his legacy here in Calgary? But now let's look at free agency. That is the next phase, starting tomorrow at noon. Well, that'll let you know when we're recording this, folks. But what do you think the Flames' number one need is? And why is it center depth?
Center depth, once again, like I explained just moments ago, we need to win those face-offs.
Yeah.
We need some scoring. And we need to be able to enter those offensive rushes as soon as possible, as soon as we get the puck. Minimal turnovers, minimal blockages, and just fast entry. And I think that's what the Flames need to look for. Especially, we can probably pinpoint that Kevin Rooney, our fourth-line center, will test free agency market. So we need somebody probably to replace fourth line, unless it's going to be, they might send Backlund down to the fourth line. We have talked about
Justin Kirkland potentially as well, filling that role.
Yeah, now that he's coming. Yeah, now that he's coming back. But I think one curious from the other teams that I would look for is Aaron Ekblad, I think from the Florida Panthers. I think he has been linked to many of the times for the Calgary Flames, so we'll see if that's one choice.
Well, and if you look at some of the projected salary AAV An $8 million Aaron Ekblad is not the worst place to be if you are going to need to replace Rasmus Andersson. I think the pressure would have been more to go in on Ekblad if Rasmus was traded already, but the fact that Rasmus is still on this lineup gives me a little bit of a hesitation in saying that. The other thing is the Flames need to stay young. We don't really want to be looking in at necessarily some of these older centers that are on the free agent market. But I could see a guy like Christian Dvorak filling that fourth line, third line center role, just to give you a couple names. And you do have to remember, the Flames are losing their backup goalie. Dan Vladar will also be heading to free agency. So that's an avenue you will need to look at. Whether that's someone like Alex Lyon, who is older than I expected, or whether that's going to be filling from within, allowing Logan Cooley to finally make his return to the NHL.
Devin Cooley.
Or Devin. I always mix those two up. Devin Cooley, not Logan Cooley. It's a me thing. But yeah, whether that's the way the Flames elect to go, or whether they elect to sign somebody like a Jake Allen, who is predicted to be a key piece for some team. But thank you, Anand, for joining me, and we will surely talk again before the season begins for the Calgary Flames.
100%. Take care. Thanks for watching.